whole of Spacer's choice couldn't outmaneuver her.
Still got work if you're looking. You're here early. I expected you'd be on the receiving end of Milver Street's bluster until close to the end of time. Happy that ain't the case, as I can make use of you. I'm Officer Babylon Carr, head of aggressive acquisitions and persons elimination on Paradise Island. Let no one say I can't be official when circumstances merit. Now, not to say I question the presence of a wayward sightseer in the midst of a war-torn waste, but it might be safer for us both if I knew your purpose. The Vox, eh? Bent on bloody self-destruction, I could just have my troops dispatch you, save you the effort. Although if you were keen on continuing to draw breath, perhaps you and I could broker a deal. There are Protectorate vitals need bled. You could do the bleeding. Unusual refers to every turncoat and is not a halfway strong enough phrase. Try gormless cretins who can not so much as wipe their running noses without begging permission. Don't know if there's a DeVries here, not my department. Milver Street befriends the ex-subjects, keeps tabs on them. Ask him. Why are you looking for them? Who are they to you? Sorry to be the one to say it, but if your friend is still amidst Protectorate ranks, bet as good as any they may have met their end. My employer would assuredly be filled with wrath if it were my forces I were committing. But enlisting a freelancer on my own dime is hardly committing any forces. If you fail, I'll be out nothing, and Auntie shall be none the wiser. And if you succeed, I can't be blamed if my plans came to fruition on their own. This fine settlement is Fairfield. Once in the Protectorate's grasping claws, now Auntie's newest foothold on Paradise Island. When we arrived, it was thick with yaysayers, a hair's breadth away from sacrificing themselves to their old masters. Now they've seen the golden glow of the free market. Entertaining as it is to root out dozens of entrenched, suicidally murderous subjects, I'd take the efficiency of capitulation any day. Couldn't say. Maybe Milver Street's hearts and minds drivel holds weight after all. Though you'll pardon me for not dropping low and begging his forgiveness. The subjects are his problem now. Myself? I'm focused on making sure the Protectorate doesn't bring them back into the fold by force. I want the Protectorate war effort exsanguinated. You want into the Vox Relay. You help me, I help you. There's a particular holding we shelled early in the war, name of Euphoria Coast Automech Repair Center. Deserves a raising for the length of its blasted name alone. My scouts report recent Protectorate attempts to bring it back to functioning. I need the place sabotaged, lest Automechs return to aid the Protectorate war effort in droves. Should note, the ministers like to take our working together as a personal affront. Aid me, and I suspect he'll rescind any offer he may have made to you. Certainly could. I wouldn't shed a tear on behalf of those drones, but the Protectorate is used to losing its people, and there'd no doubt be a replacement crew in a week's time. The repair center itself needs to be permanently put out of commission. Anything else is temporary. Could be direct. Feign that you're an assistant of some kind, though you'd have to have some know-how regarding engineering. But a simpler path would be paying a visit to the Ministry of Accuracy, liberating some credentials. Yaysayers ain't capable of suspecting a piece of paper. Do you suggest that our good minister has lost patience with playing fair and now seeks to delve into the oily recesses of brainwashing? Oh, for shame. He's devoted to his half measures. I'll give him that. But he wouldn't have to wheedle and connive if he knew directness. Milver Street's grinning manipulation won't earn nothing but more of our own dead. Work with me. Competence recognizes competence. Get into that facility and make certain it won't ever function again. I look forward to hearing your results.
Seems nowhere in Paradise Island. I'll take fighting raps over living in a surveillance state any day of the week.
Broadcasting reassuring programming in line with the paradigm. This is ain't as tough as you thought. Hey you! Get over here before you get yourself killed. No, you ain't got what I need. And you can't come stumbling around here looking like prey. These raps ain't had a bite to eat since their pods dropped from the look of it. And a desperate rapt is a dangerous rapt. If the occasion calls for it, but I fancy myself something of a biologist. Or, at least I used to. Me and raptidons, we're well acquainted. I know their patterns, behaviors, attacks. Know what gives them an edge around folk who ain't in possession of that knowledge. Which is why I gotta ask, what are you doing here? You're in the middle of a war zone, friend. Anyone who ain't asking questions is instead asking for a bullet in the back. I'm Inez Silung, Auntie's choice, former combat medic in the Enhanced Soldier Division. Now, menial troubleshooter. Minister Milverstreet of Fairfield sent me here to retrieve some information. Not my most exciting assignment, but suppose we can't expect much with the stalemate on this island. I'll admit I was eager for some good hunting around here. My graft, needs some bolstering. But if the raps here are as weak as this one, it won't help me none. When there's paperwork, there's enemy secrets. And dropping raptidons on the place is a quick way to stop any personnel keen on destroying those secrets before we find them. It's a kinder fate than if they survived. Allowing us to walk off with this intel would surely land any survivor in front of the firing squad. Or sentimental refreshment. This place is an archive of Protectorate censorship. If it's been sanitized, censored, or rewritten out of the Protectorate's history, the Ministry's where you'll find it. And apparently there's some highly sensitive intel about mental refreshment hereabouts. The Minister sent me here to find it. If you had, you'd know. Unless you're accustomed to seeing folk roaming around with exposed muscle fibers or stunted extra limbs on their backs. Other than punch a hole in my armor, cause Huel at the saloon to yell in consternation, not much, at present. I'm considered a liability. My graph's all wrong. Most everyone else who got one passed or became permanently incapacitated. So they shuttered the program. It was a total failure. Everyone in Fairfield reckons my time will come soon too. But I'm still mostly upright. For now. I just know I can do more for Auntie and for the war. It's just this damn contract. Unless I can amend it so I might fix my graft, proving myself ain't happening anytime soon. Weren't many of us grafted soldiers to begin with. To think I'm one of the lucky ones. No. Enhanced Soldier Division was the fancy public-facing name for the grafting program. And when I say it was shuttered, I mean completely fucking demolished. Bet they'd erase it from the financial records if they could. It was that much of an embarrassment. In the wake of such a failure, it's left us grafted folks with no support. I only been able to treat my own ailments thanks to Doc Tinsley in Fairfield. She worked for the program for a time. She's a good one. She's bound by contract to work on whatever task Fairfield's illustrious leader set her to, nothing else. But she also ain't quite got the hang of the employment thing. You looked at the fine print of an employment contract lately? It says any action taken by a worker that could result in impeded work must be approved by the contract holder. Not only would trying to fix my graft impede my work, but it's also financially unviable, unproven, a risky investment. So I'm stuck with a limb that's slowly poisoning me. Could pursue fixing it myself were I out of my contract, but if I attempted to end it, I'd have to waive all employment rights for the next year. That's a non-starter. Let me put it this way. If I was already on the bottom rung, This knocks me clean off and buries me in sand. But I started from nothing before. I could do it again. Maybe. Ain't easy moving between companies, and I wasn't always with Auntie's Choice. But that's a story for another time. Get the feeling you will. Go on now. There's probably plenty of Protectorate info waiting to be scooped up if you're keen. Just mind the wraps. I got what I came for, so I reckon it's time to see about my contract. Law knows I could use a lucky break.
Just me, or did Inez remind you of Helen? Tough like her. Shame she's with Auntie's Choice.
Seeing Zeb again went different than I expected. Not that I had high hopes for tears and confetti, but damn. Yes and no. There's a shadow over him wasn't there before. A meanness. It's difficult to describe. Even tougher to be on the receiving end. Maybe I ought have apologized straight away. But I'm not convinced I did the wrong thing, leaving. Had I stayed, who knows? Likely I'd have gotten us both killed. That's fair. Might have left him a note or something. I was just worried I'd lose my nerve, but you have a point. Wasn't right of me to just up and split. Anyway, I appreciate the check-in, Commander. Was there anything else you needed?
Sequencing attack strategies. Please recall. Emergency protocol surveillance prime.
Ready to take the heat off you, Commander. Just say when.
Engaging hostile rifle. Enthusiastically neutralized.
You lot couldn't hit the broadside of a freighter.
Sensing threat. The command is being down. Grab to them.
Who goes there? By orders of Marshal Donaldson, no one comes or goes to the Automech Repair Center without approval. What's your business here?
Now you've done it. Slowing down a ranking protectorate official is worth 10, 20 demerits if you're lucky.
All right, let's not lose our heads over a simple misunderstanding. You're free to pass. Marshal Donaldson likes to greet new arrivals personally. We'll let him know you're inbound, so no one shoots on sight. Oh, and fair warning, watch out for xeranium gas. We sprung a leak. Nothing too bad. Aside from the headaches, nightmares, missing teeth, and headaches. One more thing. Don't cause any trouble around these parts. Donaldson runs a tight ship and has zero tolerance for lawbreakers.
All that matters is getting these automechs to the Vox relay station.
But Marshal, we must adhere to decontamination procedures.
Greetings, potential customer. State your business. This unit was engineered to facilitate management of supply inventory at this installation.
Oh, this is surely exciting. Someone is finally trying out my automechanical quartermaster. Show them what you got, Quartermech.
Command not understood.
Huh. I thought that would have put it into sales mode. Best look into that later. Please, give it a try yourself.
All wares should be perfectly visible already.
Sorry, it tends to take things too literally. Maybe try phrasing the request differently.
Lull detected. Conversational status uncomfortable.
Does that one compute, big guy?
Affirmative. Initiating commerce is one of this unit's default commands. Initiating commerce.
Oh, unfamiliar clientele. I was just lamenting the lack of new faces around here since supplies stopped arriving. And then you walk in. Name's Hazel. I'm sort of the acting quartermaster around these parts. You need any supplies? Talk to my friend the quartermech here. You'd think that a fully stocked auto-mechanical repair center would have automech parts, and 9 times out of 10 you'd be spot on. Trouble is, a bunch of supplies went missing recently, right around the time the quartermech completed a routine inventory. As a matter of fact, yes. Recently, when the crates by the wall got too high, it began stacking supplies on the catwalk above.
Protectorate automechanicals feature advanced construction but low adaptability. Fall-throughs in its logic assembly would likely lead it to interpret its programming literally.
Logic can be a funny thing, you understand. One misstep can have the most peculiar results. Delphinia's lab would be the place to search. We use it for storage, and our records indicate the supplies were present and accounted for.
Standard Earth Directorate protocol calls for a thorough grid search of the premises, Commander. Those parts are bound to turn up somewhere.
Are you acquainted with Delphinia? She's a scientist on loan from the Vox Relay, helping with the Zeranium leak and all. Delphinia is not very nice. Or maybe she just doesn't like me personally. Anyway, she's very talented, and I'm glad she's helping out. And I'm never going within 10 feet of her again. Best of luck in your search. Let me know if I can be of assistance. See you soon, I hope.
Oh yes, I adore interruptions. I was just saying, what's best for stoking the spark of invention? Regular disruptions to one's train of thought. Now, what is it you want? Quite busy, as I said, and less pleased for this unscheduled work suspension. Now, did you have some business here? Now that you mention it, there was one particularly insistent little mech who kept trying to put all manner of bric-a-brac in here. After several firm remonstrations, I told it the interior of this building is off-limits while I'm working here. Didn't see that peculiar little scamp again after that. Oh, we'll get to that presently. Now tell me, are you familiar with Zeranium gas? One and the same. That building took the brunt of the damage during a recent attack, and now it's spewing valuable Zeranium all over the place. I could speak at length about Zeranium's many captivating intrinsic qualities, but suffice it to say, in its gaseous state, it's rather deadly. So what am I endeavoring to create? A protective device that shields its wearer from Zeranium's remarkably unsavory effects, as well as other forms of harm. Quite splendidly, if I do say so myself. The principal function of the device is confirmed operational. I merely need to work out some minor implementation concerns. Alas, while I'm occupied with inventing this shield gadget, I also find myself in need of assistance regarding its key components. Good. Wonderful. As an added incentive, I'll allow you to keep one of the prototypes once the work is finished, so you be sure to give it your all. Now here, you'll need this apparatus. It's for collecting stray Zeranium effluvium. Gas, that is. My supply is running low from all the iterative testing I've been performing. Merely activate the device once it's inside a Zeranium cloud, the one around the main hangar specifically. Try to avoid any fields of dense Zeranium, or death is all but assured. Any questions? Normally, yes, but on the off chance that environmental exposure has altered the gas here in any way, I'll want to work with local samples. Ideally, the resulting shielding will protect against any gas, but since it's of utmost importance that it work on the gas here, I'll be calibrating against that. Oh, so exhilarating to have a new subordinate. I look forward to thoroughly scrutinizing your work. Now, shoo-shoo! Off with you now! Gather those samples! Shoo!
Warning. Agent. Irreparable damage to lungs imminent. Exit gaseous gland immediately.
My little minion. I trust you've made progress in your tasks? What did I tell you? Perfectly safe. Either that or you tolerate Zeranium poisoning like a champ. Good for you. Should you suffer from any lingering symptoms of contamination, visit the medical center and they'll get you squared away. Now, on to business. The device already generates a field exactly as specified, albeit on a very small scale. Still, progress is progress. What's needed now is something to help extend and shape the field around the user. Capital deduction! Where have you been all my career? You'll be pleased to learn there's one right here at the facility, in the Dragoon that's patrolling just outside. You guessed correctly. Our chief mechanist was rather hostile to the idea. So you may have trouble getting your hands on the catalytic amplifier. Dragoons are a mainstay of our military. The design has been in production for decades. I had a model of one when I was young. All children did. You must have seen the large automech patrolling the interior grounds. That is the Dragoon. I'm sure he's just being cautious. Should Auntie's Choice attack us, we don't want to be caught defenseless. No doubt he also seeks to retain an unspoiled automech, since the others are by now riddled with Zeranium poisoning. Good. A flexible mindset should behoove you on this task. Perhaps the chief mechanist will prove more receptive to your request. Failing that, be prepared to exercise creativity if needed. One last thing. The Dragoon must not be harmed. Not only would the amplifier likely be damaged, but we'd both be summarily executed, assuming we survive the firefight that ensued. Well, off you go. Shoo.
Give me a sec. Almost done with this work list. Another sealant failure, amplifier requisition, and 2 more cases of Zeranium exposure. We're a mite bit busy these days. I'm afraid so, and you were wise not to get involved. The Marshal is under a lot of pressure to deliver automechs to the Vox relay station, but I'm responsible for their quality control. If even a single automech steps out of line, it will be the end of me. Brigadier Montelli does not accept excuses, and he does not tolerate failure. The Marshal is a good man, but he values speed while I value accuracy. Neither of us is wrong, but in this case, we both can't be right. She and I have been over this 100 times. Please understand, the original staff of this facility were rounded up and refreshed because they couldn't safeguard a protectorate asset. Why should I follow their example by reducing our sole working Dragoon to a pile of unpatriotic scrap? I can't. I won't. That's a fair point. It's not as if they've come back to finish the job. Perhaps they assume we're already beaten. All right, how's about we get the Dragoon situated over here, so I can extract its vital organ? 1 catalytic amplifier as agreed. I hate to lose another Dragoon, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Not a chance. Donaldson has done everything in his power to get this facility online. He can't blame me for doing the same. Be seeing you, stranger.
Well, any closer to obtaining the catalytic amplifier? Oh, superb! I'm almost tempted to ask how you managed it. But pressing on, just a moment to remove what I need and install it in the prototype. With this gadget, you'll be shielded against more than Zeranium, you know. Damn near everything, as long as it's charged. Now, report to Marshal Donaldson, if you please. He's rather impatient to end this crisis so he can turn his focus back to the war. Don't thank me. Just doing my part for the sake of the paradigm, same as anyone.
I'm glad that spectacle didn't scare you off. Between the recent attacks and the gas leak, you find us on the razor's edge between reason and panic. Anyway, if you have hands and a will to lend them, I won't turn away help. This gas leak of ours has proven inexhaustible, patient, and insidious. Zeranium is hardly my area of expertise, but it falls to me to find a solution, lest I follow my predecessors to their untimely fate. What happens to any member of the Protectorate who falls short of fulfilling their lifelong oaths of service? Execution for the unworthy, and mental refreshment for the salvageable and the stalwart. Dereliction of duty is a heavy offense, and no lesser sentence will fit the crime. I hold myself to the highest standard, but this Zeranium leak, it threatens all that I hold dear. I knew Dr. Bryant would come through for us, that she'd prove her worth as surely as any subject of the Protectorate would. Seeing as you're the only one trained in the use of that gadget, what say you put it through its paces? Make your way inside the repair hangar and find the control terminal to purge the Zeranium. And be careful with that terminal. We don't want the situation getting any worse. Why in law's name would you want to know that? Good thinking. I suppose if some computational greenhorn left even one of the intake conduits open and shut down the Zeranium flow, that'd be a disaster. Good thing we don't make rookie mistakes in my unit. Any further questions? Don't worry about Woodrow. Smart fellow, but his cautious nature gets in the way. Yes, there is some risk that exposure to Zeranium will corrupt our automechs, to use his colorful language. That shouldn't stop us from delivering them on time. I'm sure they'll be scrubbed clean once they arrive at the Vox relay. But that isn't our problem to solve. You be sure and come back once you've made progress on the leak.
Yes? Just have to release this here, unfasten the manifold there. And that's got it. One catalytic amplifier, as requested. I'll just put it down here.
Oh, a new arrival. Ah, and what's this? You, I dare say, are exhibiting clear signs of Zeranium exposure, stranger. Fortunately for you, you appear to have a fairly mild case. I imagine you haven't even noticed any symptoms yet. If you'd indulge me, I have a few questions I'd like to ask, for medical posterity, and so on and so forth. First question, can you describe the conditions in which you were exposed to the Zeranium? Ah, another assistant. Should have guessed. I suppose I should be grateful for all the data she sends my way, but I do wish Del would think more of her collaborators' well-being. All right, next question. How are you feeling? For instance, do your bones seem noticeably softer somehow? Have you observed any sterility on your way in? Or aching in your thyroid or spleen? Well, good for you. Keeping a positive attitude can often aid your recovery. I wish more of my patients shared your optimistic disposition. As a token of my appreciation, allow me to provide you advanced Zeranium therapy of the highest possible quality. There, that should do it. Do stop back in if you suffer additional exposure. I would love, be pleased to act as your consulting physician again, should the need arise. Oh, gladly. I've rather dedicated my life to researching its unique form of matter. What would you like to know? Zeranium is a crystal. Even in its raw form, it generates energy. But once refined and stored in a quasi-gaseous state, its output increases exponentially. Zeranium is found in a liquid state as well, but it's far too hazardous and inefficient for our needs. Refined Zeranium is used to power nearly all major Protectorate technology. It's an amazingly efficient power source. However, it's also highly unstable and must be mined exceedingly carefully. Even minor bumps or jolts can cause Zeranium crystals to explode. Zeranium in its default crystalline state poses two risks. First, it's extremely volatile, exploding with an immense burst of energy if upset in any way. Second, Zeranium crystals produce a small amount of gas, which we think helps stabilize its crystalline lattice, but that's just a theory. In this gaseous state, Zeranium is quite hazardous, breaking down organic matter through a mechanism we still don't quite understand. The concentration of the gas is a critical factor. A person could remain in a light haze for several minutes, whereas a dense cloud can kill near instantly. Anyhow, I could talk about this all day if I let myself. Hope I haven't bored you unduly. Was there anything else I could help you with? Total avoidance is best, but try to get out of the Zeranium as quickly as you can if exposure becomes necessary. Come to think of it, there may be some exciting new breakthroughs in the near future. Our visiting scientist next door is working on a device that shields the user from Zeranium's effects, though she was having a spot of trouble last I heard.
Sorry, ain't ready yet. Processing.
Engaging combat protocols.
Ready to waste them. On your command. distraction for you!
Been working at that spot of business we discussed. Easier to lead with fewer targets nibbling at your psyche. Loose your words. I'm listening. Let me spin you a yarn. One of my elite regiments ceased replying to hails several weeks ago. Hardy bunch. Fought all across the system. Yesterday, the Protectorate launched the regiment commander's upper torso into one of our encampments, which makes 2 1/3 complete corpses of a 6-person unit. Mocking us. Calculating bastards, the Protectorate. Would admire their efficacy if it weren't taking so many of my best and brightest. Once the fighting reignites in full, they'll pay dearly. Ask a loaded question, get a loaded answer. You want diluted truths and empty charm? Milver Street's just around the corner. Pains me to admit such, but for all our losses, we've minimal gains to show. It's all these half measures. Milver Street saw things my way, Paradise Island would be ours by mess. Man doesn't seem to understand there's an order to things. Convert your enemies after the war ends, not before. Try too early, you got saboteurs, spies, and the unruly. It's a poor use of our resources, inefficient at best, actively detrimental to our work at worst. And if there's one thing I despise worse than our foes, it's the poor use of resources. Scouts reported a plume of smoke thick and wide billowing from the facility. Sure didn't seem to be mechanical exhaust. Got more to report? Just that Milver Street requested her presence for some mission. Normally I'd demand to be paid, but I was just glad to get her some work. Trooper Sealong was one of my best enhanced soldiers, but never took to her grafts. Been uncertain what I could rely on her for. So Milver Street holds her contract. Least for now. Trooper Sealong ain't a fragile wallflower. She's a soldier. And even at reduced efficacy, she's worth 15 of any grunt picked at random. She's got a contract. And she ain't so far gone we can't make use of her. But the fact is, her grafts are holding her back, and it's only getting worse. Don't let it bother you. Now, let's talk helping you. There's a bridge gating entry to the northern part of the island. You want to get to the Vox? First step is getting through it. There's an alternate path, but it's blocked by Zeranium. I'll order my troops at the forward operating base to aid you, and you'll punch through together. From there, your target's the Skycutter Tower. Seems it was recently reactivated, and by our engineers' metrics, might be useful in overloading the Vox's defenses. A heap of fighting. My troops at the forward operating base will assist you, but if you can secure any greater advantages, you'd best do so. The Yaysayers sense they'll soon be cornered and fight all the more fiercely thereof. It won't be easy, but it's the most direct route to the Vox. It's a Protectorate power generation facility. Utilizes the wilds of the air currents to turn generator rotors or some such nonsense. I care more for logistics than engineering. Oh, Auntie, I cannot believe what transpired. My troops defied their orders and captured the bridge. Such a shame we can't shoot soldiers for taking their own initiative. Sound convincing? Considered a career in the performance department years ago. Met Milver Street. Transferred out, so did he. At least I've realized I ain't still on stage. Wouldn't trust the Protectorate's over-engineered perfection to cook a spratwurst. Give me the no-frills, disposable quality of Auntie's Choice any day. If by some miracle your contraption doesn't turn you inside out, it'd give you a much quieter route to the Vox. Much as I'd like the bridge's clearing. Once you pass to the northern end of the island and enter the Skycutter, you'll need to find the tower's power routing controls. Mayhaps you can wreak some chaos at the Vox. Step light, though. There's no Protectorate gallivanting near the tower, which like as any means something bloodthirsty lurks within. Stay intact.